All right, welcome back to the show. It is Labor Day here in God's country. Nathan Creeps joined by my co-host, Mr. Bryce Borscher. Bryce, happy Labor Day, brother. It's good to be on the mic.
Happy Labor Day. Yeah, you too. Yep. You had a good weekend so far?
Uh, yeah, you know what? It's been pretty relaxing. It's just good to see football back on the screen. I've never really done much for Labor Day in my life outside of just watching football.
Yeah,
Maybe some
same. It's
golf.
always family for us. Golf family, yeah, we don't have the boat, so there's no Bogie, there's no Ozarks. Like you just kind of hang out and enjoy the long weekend.
It's all right. It's people are kind of making that one last push at Bogie,
Yep.
and
Yep. We had a server last night at 30 Hop in Ankeny, and she's like, "This is my first time serving. I go to Drake, and not being at Bogie for Labor Day weekend, and it's kind of hurting right now." And I almost felt bad for her, but I'm like, "Hey, welcome to real world.
yeah, I
Like
know.
this is kind of
I've
kind of how
always
everyone else lives."
I've always kind of despised like 4th of July, Labor Day, and Memorial Weekend because I never had a boat. I got
Yeah.
so jealous of all the people at Okoboji just living their rich life. I just had to sit
Yep.
back. And as the older I got, the more, I respect it. I'm fine not going
Yeah.
to Boji. But growing up, I was really despise these holidays.
Yeah, you're just a little jealous. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt
Yep.
about
Welcome to the real world. Yeah, it was a good weekend for us too. It's unfortunately the first anniversary of my grandma passing, so we spent some time with my mom, her side of the family. Got to watch most of the Saturday games with dad and brother, which was great. God, I forget how much fucking commercials there are though. A great football weekend, but I'm already burnt out from commercials.
it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forget you have to like gear up for that side of the whole football being back.
Were you throwing down some bets on these games? Did you make any money?
I did. I took all my profit from last week and I squandered it.
Nice. Yeah.
Yep.
I same thing last year. I started incredibly hot last year, and then
Hmm.
we all knew it became incredibly disastrous for the next 13 weeks of college football. Uh s- Last week, whatever. This week, so far, I drilled Miami yesterday, and I parlayed them with South Carolina. So I made a lot of money
Oh, that's
yesterday,
good. Yeah, good parlay. Very good parlay.
but I just know it won't be in the account for much longer. I'll find a way to blow it.
I need to find that team that I can just hang on to every week and just know, like, okay, I've watched these guys enough. I know exactly how they score, how they play, and just either bet their cover or bet their spread
Well,
to win.
now's your chance to hit the plus money games. It always is in the first couple weeks because
True.
Vegas doesn't even really know these teams, so they're just
Yeah.
kind of throwing out lines to the best of their ability. So it's your one chance to really catch a team that's maybe overlooked in the beginning of the season, but they're still big underdogs. And
Yep.
so I've always capitalized on that. And then my unfortunate part throughout the season, I continue to take these plus money teams as we know more
Yeah.
about them. Even I know they have no chance of winning, but you just like seeing that plus money.
Yeah. One thing I will say is the first 2 weeks I have alt spread Iowa State to win the game, and it has paid off in my favor. I know we'll recap the Iowa and Iowa State game this week a little bit later in the show, and that has been very, very nice because the Cyclones are not only covering the spread, but they're outdoing their spread, which is amazing.
God, they look scary right now, and I'm scared to recap their game and preview this
Yeah.
weekend's game because this week is it's the worst week of my life. It always
Mm-hmm.
is, and always will
It's a
be.
lot of stress.
I fucking hate CyHawk week.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Most years I try to go ghost on social media, but over the years I've taken my cousin Michael's advice and block as many Iowa State accounts as you possibly can, and
Mm-hmm.
it's dramatically improved my life. So I'm able to be on social media a little bit more throughout this week. But I still hate it. The
It's a tough week
suspense,
no matter what.
it's tough. No matter how good your team is or how bad the opponent is, toss it out. It's going to be a close game, and that's what makes this week so tense.
Mm-hmm.
And all the
Yep.
social media. It's better now that I'm older because I hated going to school and seeing all the Cyclone guys. I fucking
Yeah.
hated it. Oh
Yeah.
god, they just pissed me off.
And these days they're better and they have so much pent up aggression and anger from all the years where they just got rolled every single year. So it really to be on the Hawkeye side of things nowadays is like it's kind of like karma almost. So it's tough. It's going to be a long week, no doubt. I'm excited to recap or to preview what we have this week.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we'll be diving into Cyhawk week later here in the episode. Um, I don't know. So it's just first off, it's just good to have football back. My life is good right now. I really enjoy it. The weather's been perfect. Uh, NFL is coming up here, Bryce. Have you dipped your toes in the fantasy this year? Are you doing any fantasy football, or have you
I
drafted
have.
yet?
Yeah, we drafted last Tuesday, and I feel good about my team. So I was kicked out of a league in college. Neglect was the story of that, and since have been added back, and I intend to take it much more seriously. So it's a bunch of college guys. Unfortunately, with being added back, it's a keeper league, and I have to keep Christian McCaffrey. So
Oh, it's a
I'm not sure
keeper.
how I feel about that so far, but I felt like I drafted well. I got Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, a couple of young guys that I'm excited about. So I guess we'll see. It's always hard to know right before the season, but yeah, I'm in full swing. Have you dove into your whole team yet?
Yeah, so we're doing two fantasies again, and I hate that. I only like doing
Yeah.
one fantasy because then you start competing against your own players throughout the week. It's a lot to
Hmm.
keep track of, right? I'm hungover Sunday. I'm trying to set lineups. Now I'm going to do it for two different teams, man. But yeah, last year I had as good as a year you could possibly do. Got first place in one, and the other I didn't even draft the team because I forgot, and that team I'm getting second place. And no one can forget my 3 years ago where I had the best draft team grade and I didn't win a single game that year.
Oh, that's my
And
favorite thing. ESPN gives you your draft grade at the end of it, and you're like,
uh-huh.
"Yeah, good
Yeah.
job, man.
And then I didn't
Great.
win a
Can't wait to finish
single
last."
game. But since then I've won two championships from that year. And last year I got second place too. So fantasy's been really good to me the last couple of years. And so far I think that I have my best team I've ever drafted. I'll even give a few of the guys right now. I called my team Mark Groped Majowski. I always name my team after I have a quarterback. Last year there's Sexy Sullivan's. The year before
Yep.
that was Cade Mack to my Mara. I got Lamar Jackson, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, the Denver defense, and Brandon Audrey. So a lot of tight
Okay. Yeah.
ends
That's
guys in the respective position. So I'm excited.
yeah. Seems good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to play Thompson first round. I'm favored 51% to 49%, but I guess it's so unknown at this point. I have no idea. So many guys have switched teams, unproven quarterbacks. Josh Allen, my quarterback, coming off an MVP season. He could either follow that up or just completely be average. I don't know.
How are your Vikings going to be this year? You
We
believe
have
in
a
JJ?
great team. It's so much up to McCarthy. I really think that they can be totally fine if he plays game manager football. I think we actually have a chance at winning the division. It'll be tough. I mean, the Packers just got Micah Parsons in that crazy trade from the Cowboys a couple days ago, and Caleb Williams and the Bears are just unproven, but they have talent. And then obviously the Lions were kind of underperformers in the playoffs, but they're stacked too. So
Yeah, almost any other year. Well, not the last 2 years, but any year prior to that, you could almost say that. And there's no doubt you're going to win the NFC North, but now it's just so competitive. It really
yeah.
is.
So the most fun division in football. I know that you're not like as much into NFL as you are college, but if you're going to tune into any NFL, the NFC North is where to do it.
Yeah, I like all NFC North teams. I cheer for all of them.
Yeah.
It just depends who I put my money on, who I'm going to cheer. Say if the Vikings or Green Bay are playing each other, they'll decide who I'm cheering for that specific game. But I really do. I love the NFC North. It's a lot of
Yeah.
drama. It's our neck of the woods. We breathe it, we live it. So I have been way more invested in the NFL here the last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just good to like have fantasy, betting, a little something extra to do on the weekends. Not that we needed anything. It feels like we're not even done with our crazy lineup of weddings and travel and all that stuff from the summer, but just a little added sauce to the top of your weekend makes it fun. I do have a little bit of a competitive edge too in fantasy. Coming back into a league I was kicked out of, I really need to perform
Yeah.
and watch the waivers and do it this year.
Go show them boys up. Good luck this year, Bryce. Beautiful day so far. I don't know what it is in Des Moines. Actually, I do know what it is in Des Moines. You guys have a high of 77 degrees today here for September 1st. So let's dive into some weather records in Des Moines, Iowa. Bryce, we're looking at a highest temperature ever recorded of 98 degrees, set back in 1984. Lowest temperature, 38 degrees Fahrenheit, set in 1949. Your average high is 81 degrees. So I
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, things are slowly starting to cool traditionally for this time of the year, especially this week or this
yeah,
this year's week. Have you seen the cold front coming in?
yeah. Normally, that CyHawk game can be pretty warm, and it looks
Uh,
like it's going to be awesome in Ames this weekend.
God, it's like a high of like 62, 63 degrees for Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Woo.
going to be so good.
Yeah, what a different vibe to this year's game because usually you're right, it's like 85, 90 degrees kickoff, and but this year you get a little bit more later in the season feel.
Yeah.
We always wish, God, we wish we could play Iowa State later in the year, vice versa. So I kind of add a little bit different feel, a little spooky feel to
Yeah.
Saturday's game. But speaking of the weather,
What was
what's up?
what was tailgating like Saturday? It was a pretty nice day, wasn't it?
It got warmer than you expected. It always
Yeah.
somehow does. Right away it was looking like it was going to be like a high of 72 in the beginning of the week, and each day this kept bumping it up, and I think God, we reached almost 84, 85 degrees, and so you're sitting in the sun. It got hot.
Yeah.
It got a little uncomfortable, but the game was perfect though. The game was perfect. Tailgate was fine. It's you can only get rowdy so much for Albany. So I mean, we drink
Yeah,
some
it
beer.
is hard that first game.
The-
Usually it's hot and you've been out there all day and you're like,
well,
who do we play again? Oh god damn, it's Albany.
right. Yeah, it was probably the chillest tailgate environment I've ever been a part of. And these games suck, but
I
it's
know
good.
we're gonna recap Iowa just here in a second, but how many Albany fans were there? Just curious.
Um, God, I don't know. If I looked
Less
up
than
the same,
5% of the stadium.
oh yeah, way less. I'd probably guess like 70, 80, maybe
Okay.
70, 80. There's a group of like 10 in our tailgate lodge, and we just couldn't believe what we were seeing. When we looked down the lot, we saw 2 cars of purple, like 5, 10 people get out. So that was funny. Shocked them when eventually
Yeah,
that
I mean
is.
that's awesome.
Definitely some parent family. No, unless if they're straight up Albany fans, that's crazy that this came for that. I can only imagine parents.
I can't travel. I imagine traveling from New York to come and watch
Yeah,
U Albany.
yeah, play boring ass Iowa too. But this year's tailgate was better because we invested in a portable TV
Yeah.
and we were able to watch Texas versus Ohio State, catch a little bit of the Iowa State South Dakota game. So it was just good. That was really reassuring instead of kind of being blind to what's happening throughout the college football world. And we took a lot of heat. Colby and I took a lot of heat for this TV. It's no 45. It's no 60-inch flat screen TV. It's probably a square foot. But everybody who was hating it, Bryce, was there watching it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of haters, but you all been glued to this TV all day. So I'm gonna hold my
Yeah.
ground on that. I'm pumped up about our investment, and a lot of people said we overpaid for it. I don't care. We supplied TV visual screening throughout college football for everybody that day in the lot. So
Yeah, in that
haters can
environment when
suck it.
you're either clueless looking at your phone or you watch the 45 incher. And I think in that moment you better be grateful instead of hating on the little guy.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like I said, that nothing special about that tailgate. But let's go into September 1st on the state here in Iowa. Bryce, on September 1st, 1922, the town of Ashton, Iowa, set the record for the highest temperature ever recorded in the state at 118 degrees Fahrenheit. That record still stands today.
That's hot. Yeah,
That's fucking terrible.
God damn. Yeah, I'll take 77 and sunny over that any day of the week. That is so hot. Ashton, Iowa. Where
Yeah,
is
I
Ashton,
don't know.
Iowa?
I don't know where the hell that is.
Let's look that up.
Yeah, look that up for me. When I first saw this, I immediately thought of Ashton Kutcher.
Osceola County, which would be kind of by Sioux Falls.
Oh shit, it's way up there.
Yeah, way up in the northwest.
Okay.
Big old heat front. What's funny is when you look on Google Maps, their street view is a big old snow plow mound right in the middle of the main street. But on that day, it was not the case.
No. Oh god, that sounds terrible. Yeah, I'm glad. I couldn't even imagine tailgating in that. How fucking miserable your life would be.
First tailgate, CyHawk. Usually you're getting more. I mean, not 118, but you're getting like usually mid to high 80s.
At least. Yeah. Yeah. On September 1st, Bryce, 1933, marked the start of the construction of the Sayreville Dam. Yep, the legendary dam was built on the Des Moines River to prevent flooding in the region. It was completed in 1977 and stands at a whopping 105 feet.
Saylorville's still going strong too.
I,
I haven't spent time on there, but it's always busy. You go across that dam and it's
There's
It's always
always a
busy.
little boathouse is always there. That's what I always think of
Hmm.
Sailorville. Who in the
Yep.
right mind wants to live on Sailorville Lake? You know?
Yeah, Sailorville reminds me a lot of Red Rock and the fact that it's like the dammed up river. It's not super clean, but they're big and they're fun boating lakes. And there was always a lot of houseboats on Red Rock too. And I always wondered that. I'm like, interesting life choice to live on the houseboat on some middle of nowhere Iowa lake. But
There's there's such weird camp. I don't know. Campers are a whole new level of people who are severely into it. There's a shitty ass lake called Smith Lake, Iowa, or Smith Lake that's in Algona. It's just north of Algona. It's by about a mile. It's always full. It's always full of campers. It blows my freaking mind that you would want to spend your weekend at Smith Lake, Algona,
yeah,
Iowa, camping. It just, I don't know who these campers are, where they come from, or what their itch is to camp in these spots. I love camping. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
but how is it
But
full every freaking weekend? Who are these people?
there's just such a difference between like let's go camping and camping is our main hobby. Like those guys will just plant anywhere and be like, yeah, we drove for however many hours. We're just gonna set up shop here, and all right, more power to you. They probably think the same thing when we're playing some rinky dink for money tournament in Green,
Yeah,
Iowa. They're
yeah,
like,
you're
what
right.
are these guys doing here? It's, it's hard for me to wrap my head around, but I'm sure it's fun when you're just traveling across the country in your little glamper.
Yeah, good for them. They're disconnected.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't, the more I think about it, the more they're right. Instead of, yeah, you don't want my life. My life sucks. Is
Get
gambling.
away from all of it and get a
Uh,
houseboat on Sailorville. Why not?
yeah,
Almost 100 years old since Sailorville's been a thing. That's cool.
I didn't know it was that old either. Yeah, good for that. Uh, yeah, like you said, you're right. One of the lakes you probably don't want to jump in. I was looking at some of the Iowa news. There's not a lot going on here this week besides CyHawk, and that's how it typically is. But I know there's another report saying 15 more beaches were added to the do not swim in this shit here.
Yeah, so we've gone on almost 3 weeks in central Iowa. I was telling you a little bit about how dry it's been, basically since July. We're almost 3 weeks in without a significant storm, and I don't think that's very good for the bacteria growth in these lakes. So more beaches have been added to the no swim zone.
Speak. How brown is your lawn?
Oh, it's bad.
Dude,
It's really bad. We got a sprinkle last night, and the ground absorbed it in probably 30 minutes. It's really, really bad.
yeah, we were talking last. I think it was last week's podcast. That or the one before. You're talking about how green it was up here,
Hmm.
and I was cocking off about how awesome our grass was and everything. And now we go 1 week without rain, and it's getting browner and browner every
Yeah.
single hour. I'm looking at my
Hmm.
lawn, which sucks.
Hmm.
It's funny because
You,
you go where you can't. You've had too much rain. It needs to stop. Then you immediately flip to the oh my god, it needs to rain.
yeah, it needs to rain bad.
Uh-huh.
At least for the farmers, it's good that you had a great growing season. Now it's drying out. It's probably like the most ideal thing for farmers. It
Oh,
just
that's what I'm thinking
cosmetically,
too.
it's not great. Yeah.
No, for the farmers, it's going to be a dry. I mean, when you harvest, you want the ground dry. Otherwise, that's just a muddy, messy mess, and things are over. Because remember, you got to dry the corn and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you can see the corn slowly start to change color. It's one of my favorite
Yeah.
things about fall. See
Hmm.
that brown corn and smelling
Yep.
harvest. Oh,
There's some sort of parasite going through central Iowa corn where everything turned really brown really fast. Like if you look out our back window, you can see all the corn is like basically like mid-fall brown.
it's a parasite.
And yeah, and I thought I'm
Oh
like,
shit!
just it's turning brown a little earlier this year,
See, that's
but something is not very good about it. Like the corn is technically still wet, but the crop itself died too early. So
fuck.
something bad. I was kind of looking into it on TikTok, but the guy didn't say like what it was. But it made a lot of sense. I'm like, oh shit, maybe that's not a good thing that all this corn looks like it's October already.
I was thinking the same thing as I've been driving throughout the state for work this last week. I noticed that too. I'm like, is it usually this freaking brown this
No,
early?
I don't think so.
Well, because then I started talking to myself. That corn's growing. I feel like it's growing faster, right? We said if you're knee high by the 4th of July, you're screwed. You got to be head high by the 4th of July. And I'm like, okay, maybe that makes sense for an early harvest now that corn's just growing faster.
Yeah.
I think I talked to my father-in-law about it too. I'm like, does that? He's like, No, just because it grows faster doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be harvesting it earlier.
Yeah. There's a lot of things from the casual onlooker that
Mm.
I wouldn't understand or pick up. Those farmers have it dialed in.
Yeah, I trust them. I'm pumped to hear this year's yield. I really am.
I think up north it's better. There was
It's
something
got to
through
be.
central Iowa, and I'll have to throw in some show notes. But yeah, I don't think that's a very good thing for down here.
Remember last year's stat? All the corn harvested in Iowa, if you were to pit it and weigh it out, it would be equivalent to the weight of the Great Wall of China.
Yeah, yeah,
Isn't that
yeah.
crazy?
That's a wild stat.
Uh,
Number one in the nation, baby. Number one in the world, I think.
yeah, incredibly proud of it. Man, I'm pumped for corn season. Did you get any sweet corn this year?
We didn't. That's not a huge thing in our household. I don't dislike it, but it's not something I got out of my way to get.
Okay. I used to
Yeah.
be incredibly obsessed with it. Then I kind of outgrew it, but Madison's been getting into it again. And when I eat, I'm like, you know what? It's good. I forgot
It's
how-
really good. If you take the time to shuck it and boil it, make it up, it's awesome. But it's just not something that like I go crazy for, so I don't. Will you help with harvest this year?
I try to do it 1 week every year. Yeah, it all kind of aligns with weather permitting and Iowa football schedule.
Yep. Yep.
So I think there's a week in August for a bye week where it would make sense for me to get up there, and I love it. And this year I'm gonna be driving with my CDL. I'll be driving the semi this year.
Oh yeah,
Usually,
you can actually drive the semi.
yep. Usually I'm in the grain cart, and my wife and I are splitting that, and we get in too many fights.
Yep.
So it's we need to be in separate vehicles in harvest time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good for us.
Yeah. One of my favorite memories of all time, helping Grandpa harvest, listening to Gary Dolphin on the radio, pulling the tractor and grain bin and hauling the corn to the elevator. Just all time memory.
Nostalgic.
Like,
Such a great feeling.
so good.
I used to sit on my dad used to combine, and I used
Yep.
to sit on the floor, and and the sandwiches just taste so much better there.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that little Doritos and ham sandwich at like 2:00 just hits crazy. And then you hear touchdown Iowa from Gary Dolphin. God damn, I love those memories. I'm jealous that you get to do it. That's pretty cool. And the fact that you're going to be using the truck this year, that'll be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'll keep you in the loop of how this year's harvest goes. Bryce, is there any good news going on here in the state of Iowa?
No, I was trying to look that up too. There's a
Ain't
lot of.
shit.
I think Joni Ernst announced that she's not running for like her seat anymore.
See that?
But it's like political or football, and I'm just like, well, I'm not going to pay attention to the political stuff. So, yeah, I don't think anything crazy. I mean, what you got on here is kind of what took the cake for me. Field of Dreams hosted a concert.
Yeah, Nickelback and Tim McGraw. How come I didn't know about this until it happened? How come I didn't hear you? Did you know
I don't
about
think
that
they did a good job of promoting it, and they actually they commissioned the Midwest vs. Everybody services to promote this. Culver's did a giveaway for this concert, and they asked us to help promote it. I think they actually didn't have a super successful time promoting this concert because it seems like a really cool deal, very unique,
Awesome.
first time venue. I don't think they've ever had a big concert there, and great names: Nickelback, Tim McGraw. The recap of it looked very, very cool.
Haley Witters was there.
Yeah.
The Corn Queen. Yeah, I love all three of those artists right there. I love Nickelback. Love Tim McGraw. One of my probably my favorite country artist, Tim McGraw.
Yeah, great tunes from the late 90s through the early 2000s. And I think they did some renovations to the Field of Dreams, and I wonder if this is going to be a more routine thing. Because it seems like a really fun concert. You do it already in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. Seems like a venue that's ready for MLB teams to come in for the next couple of years, and you have the space for it. I wonder if this is something that will continue.
Yeah, I think it was a cool idea, but God, is it becoming too much for the Field of Dreams? As you spread yourself a little too thin, is there too much going on there? Is it taking away from the nostalgic game itself of just baseball being played out there?
Yeah, I don't know, and definitely not like the most convenient place. You'd most likely have to fly into a small airport in Dubuque or surrounding area and then drive an hour. So, yeah, I do wonder. Probably isn't the best thing if you're an artist that has to come and play. But I don't know. What else was happening in Iowa this week? Nothing crazy.
I wish there was because it would take my mind a little bit more off this game upcoming. I mean, we might as well just dive into it. We did our best to avoid this Iowa
Yeah,
quarterback
we
curse.
filibustered for a while,
Oh
but the
God.
only thing on our mind is what happened on Saturday.
Fine, we'll get into it. I know everyone's itching for us to talk about this crap. Uh, Headline: Kirk Ferentz got his 205th victory, which ties him for the most in the Big Ten history for all-time winners coach.
Yep.
With Woody Hayes, hopefully he gets that record-breaking win against Iowa State this weekend. But Iowa gets past Albany. What was it, 34 to 7?
34-7.
And listen,
Initial reaction, what do you got?
I'm pissed at myself for thinking year in, year out that something new and something sexier is going to take place on Kinnick Stadium, at least for the opening week every year. No matter who comes in, I'm like, this is it. We're a playoff team, and the same shit just happens. It's ugly. I mean, they won. They won by enough margin, in my opinion, but we did clearly we didn't all the hype we had in the preseason with this big name from South Dakota State coming in. Just wasn't sexy. And, that's Iowa football. It's not going to be sexy. But at the same time, I'm really not judging much off this game. I really
Yeah.
am. It was a football game. You'll learn a lot. Hopefully, you fucking can learn a lot from this because the quarterback play was absolutely disgusting. This guy is one of the most winning football players in the country.
Yep.
And he can't even play 3 quarters without getting a cramp. That's concerning.
Yeah. Last week we were previewing Iowa's first game. My hope was that Gronowski would get a throwing touchdown and a rushing touchdown, and that he'd get pulled in the third quarter. He got both, and he got pulled in the third quarter. Now, was it anywhere close to exciting in the way I wanted it to? That he was like very efficient, throwing down the field, making it look easy? No, not at all. In fact, I watched that first drive and my heart sunk. I fell for another transfer portal quarterback, and I'm like, you know what? We should just go back to the ground game. And they did, and they ran for 300 yards, and they made Albany look like the University of Albany. And that's all I'm going to say. I think you're right. I don't want to look too much into this game. I think at the end of the day, you did what you were supposed to. You won by multiple scores, but it did not make me more confident that this was a very, very good Iowa team.
Iowa probably could have won this game by 45, 50 points if they just ran the ball every single time. The stat line's absolutely embarrassing when you go to the receiving. I mean, first off, Gronowski was 8 for 15 for 44 yards, a touchdown pass, right? The Caden Weegan in the end zone, the 4th and 2, big completion there.
Yeah, good throw.
His rushing was fine. 11 rushes for 39 yards. He was aggressive in some of his rushing. But our leading receiver was Jacob Gill with 1 reception for 13 yards.
Yeah.
Oh.
He had one called back. He had the shoestring catch that ended up hitting the ground. Even if that completes, it's an embarrassing throwing performance.
It's that I'm not surprised seeing our leading receiver with 1 reception. What's surprising is not seeing a tight end with 6 receptions for 45 yards. And you take our receiving stat line, you compare it to Iowa State's this last week, it's comical. It's absolutely embarrassing, comical that you can't throw the ball and push the ball downfield through the air against Albany. It's incredibly concerning. And I'm sick of these fucking quarterbacks transferring to Iowa and having these offseason surgeries. As soon as they get to Iowa, oh, no, he's got to have a surgery. That delays him 3-4 months of him throwing the football around, getting a feel for it, adapting to the new culture. It's clearly becoming an issue. It sucks. This guy was not ready for the occasion. I saw a lot of jitters on the first 2 plays, or first 2 series. And I'm like, that's fine. First 2 series, you're playing in front of 70,000 new fans that are trying to get to know you. I get that. You would hope he would warm up a little bit throughout the half. Never did. And towards the end of the game, before he came out, I thought he settled in a little bit. He was starting to get a little momentum. They're finishing drives, and then he started cramping. So we never really got the full closure that I desperately fucking needed to see heading into this next week. So it wasn't good.
No, I'll be honest. I think I've seen enough, and it's an overreaction. It's a fan overreaction, and I'm going to preface it with that. But I've seen enough. I think Iowa's a 7-5 football team, Nate. I just don't see it. And it's one game. I know it's one game.
But no, I agree. But at the same time, that's right where Kirk wants us, baby. Kirk Ferentz wants us right here. He's got us pissed off. Usually they play their best football after a super shitty performance.
Yeah.
Things get tightened up. Uh, that's how you learn, right? You realize how shitty and hey, we got a long ways to go. We got to get our shit together. This week has to be high intensity, full
Hmm.
focus. We got a lot of things to fix, and you usually see the biggest jump from week 1 to week 2, and hopefully we see it because good Lord knows they need it. Because Iowa State is an absolute foundation right now from what I'm seeing from the Cyclones. Our
They're
rushing looked
elite.
good. O line looked good. Our rushing
Hmm.
looked great.
Hmm.
But that's like I said, I'm not taking too much judgment off this game. It
Yeah.
is what it is. We'll find out next week, and we'll give a firm judgment on the Hawks.
Yeah. I'm going to cut myself off too. I
Yeah.
think I don't want to read too much more into it. I think Gronowski maybe gets more and more comfortable. It just looked like he had never played the game before. That's what scares me. His footwork was bad. His touch was bad. Like, man. Okay. I'm going to stop it there. I'll have positive things to say, but I'll say it after we talk about the Cyclones.
Yeah, the more we say about this, is it's not going to get prettier. But credit to the Cyclones, Iowa State. This is
Hmm.
not traditional what we see of Iowa State. Usually they start ugly. They kind of figure some things out here and throughout the season, but the last 2 years
Yep.
it's been a different story. In previous years, Iowa State's always had talent. And
Hmm.
my opinion, they've never been shy of talent. They've had stud receivers, stud playmakers, both sides of the ball. It's just that the foundation wasn't very sturdy, I guess you can say.
Hmm.
They couldn't quite put together in a winning format. Special teams obviously killed and hindered their winning performance, but it looks like they got their shit figured out.
Campbell
And
has these boys ready to play. You go overseas, you play a top 25 opponent. It's ugly, but you get the dub, and you have what could be a overlooked game because you're looking already ahead to the CyHawk. But you have South Dakota up next, and this is not a South Dakota team to laugh at. Like they were in the quarterfinal last year. They had a quarterback that actually committed to Iowa State and then went to South Dakota, so he has something to prove. Really dynamic receiver and running back duo. And you saw it. You saw it like right away. These guys were pretty fast. They were strong. They scored an early touchdown, but after the tipped ball interception on South Dakota's
it's
second or
over.
third drive, it was pretty much over.
Yeah.
I mean, Rocco was absolutely elite. He went, I think, 13 or 14 throws without an incompletion,
19
four
for 20.
touchdowns, 19 for 20 overall, which set a record. Four touchdowns, 300 yards. Rocco looks so good. And I wish I would have leaned into this a little bit more with Mason because I did say I think Rocco, and not necessarily just because it's Rocco, I think he's really good, but this isn't necessarily an amazing quarterback class in college football this year. I think Rocco continues the stretch, and there's little hints of him in the Heisman conversation.
Uh, if Rocco, if Iowa State wanted to, they can without a doubt pit him in that conversation. But I think Iowa State's a proud culture where they're like,
Yeah,
hey, let's just whatever it takes to win the game. We
yeah,
don't need to push the button as far. If this guy was like a Miami culture, they're letting Rocco throw the ball fucking 40 times down the field, right? He
yeah.
went 19 for 20, 278 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air. Running game. Also, Iowa State's got a new freshman running back. It's kind of like Iowa story this week. Where did Xavier Williams
Hmm.
come from? Where did Terrell Washington come from? Iowa State now. Dylan Lee, the freshman, 13 attempts for 81 yards and a touchdown. The leading receiver, Gabe Burkle, tight end, 4 targets, obviously 4 receptions because Rocco only incompleted one fucking pass throughout the game. And this guy gets a touchdown too. And damn, it just you look at their stat line, target reception, target reception.
Yeah.
It was just so efficient,
He
and
diced him up.
we're not used to seeing that from Iowa State.
Hmm. Yeah, they were ready to play, and I give credit to Campbell, like in the full regard, like as much as I can possibly say about a coach being ready to play. You saw it in that post presser after the overseas game. Like he had South Dakota on like circled on his season chart. Like he was not going to overlook this game. He had the boys ready to play. I'd say there's a couple discrepancies on that defense. Like you're seeing it against Kansas State with a deep ball late in the game, and you're seeing it a little bit with what South Dakota was able to do successfully. But man, like he is going to bring the best out of this team this year. He's ready to ball.
It is. I have so much more respect for Matt Campbell. I already did going in these last 2 seasons. There's no doubt about it. I'm like, this guy's gonna change things here at Iowa State. I'm starting to even more worried where this guy can lead this program. I mean, it's
Guy's 35 years old. 45 years old, excuse me. He came in at 35. He's 10 years in. He's going to be around a long time, and if Iowa State can keep him, it is a very good thing. They look great, and I'm not going to get too far ahead on this one either because, again, it is an FCS opponent. You're supposed to take care of business. They did it exactly what they were supposed to do, and I've seen a couple weaknesses. I see moments where the Hawkeyes could take advantage.
everyone got a little taste of action for the Cyclones, including Alex Mansky from my hometown going to Iowa. He was able to find his way into an end zone. So that's cool. You come from a small town.
Oh, yeah, a little hometown
Iowa.
kid for the state. I didn't know that.
Yep. The Mansky brothers, who've been starting quarterbacks. His older brother was a starting quarterback for Algona for years. Now he was the starting quarterback. Now his younger brother's the starting quarterback for Algona. So good to see the hometown kid find his way into the end zone as true freshman year too. So it looks like he might be the guy here after Rocco moves on.
Awesome.
And then special teams, my God, they're kicking 63-yarders now.
Yeah.
I used to remember when B-Dubs did that commercial with Bring in Mahoney.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Iowa State's old kicker used to be Grant Mahoney. He was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I got in a Twitter fight with him one time. It was Iowa State special teams were the laughing stock here in the state. Now they're kicking 57-yard winners against Iowa in the last seconds. Now 63-yarders like it's nothing.
Yeah, Conradi is legit. Like that 63-yarder looked like he could have gone from 70. They had a punt return that ended up, he stepped out, but almost a 99-yard punt return.
Saw that.
A kick return. Yeah. They just look good, and it's exactly what they were supposed to do.
It is. They were supposed to do it. We didn't expect them to do it.
Not 55-7.
No,
I kind of expected
it
like 20-point win, not 50.
Jeez. So, credit to Iowa State, man. So that obviously brings us to this year's CyHawk game, and Iowa State opens up as a 3-point favorite. Like we said earlier in the podcast, Bryce, you're always worried about this game. Toss apart the talent, the record. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be a close game. You're always, as an Iowa fan, I'm always worried about, we could lose this game. Now, for the first time in forever, I'm worried about Iowa losing by 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had this feeling leading up to a game where it's potentially possible we can get boat raced by Iowa State if we don't get our shit together.
In my lowest point on Saturday, my internal spread, non-Vegas spread, was 14 points, 13.5. The way that they were throwing the ball, the way Rocco looked comfortable, the way that the defense has played the last two games against pretty decent offenses, I'm like, I'm not sure if Iowa has a chance. Now, I've come back to reality. I've seen some things. I've thought about the games. I do think that Xavier Williams, who I did not expect to even mention this year, but again, kind of like last year, Caleb Johnson comes out of nowhere. I think we can pound the ball on these guys. I have not seen anything that makes me really, really confident in Iowa State's running game, and that makes me really excited.
Yeah, let's give our key points here for victory for each side of the ball. We'll start with Iowa right here. You want to we talk about Iowa outplaying. Hold on, let me get my shit together here. Iowa needs to Iowa their opponent.
Yes.
And we need to make this game as slow as possible, which we would try to move away from Iowa culture here by the Tim Lester new offense. To compete with Iowa State and Jack Trice, we need to slow this game down, absolutely control the offensive line, and I think Iowa's offensive line is the best unit on the field. Maybe outside of Rocco, might be the best unit with the quarterback position, but we need to be able to run the ball all game as much as we possibly can, because if it's coming down to situations where we absolutely need to pass, Iowa's screwed. There's no way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think you make Rocco uncomfortable. I think you run the ball and you don't try to pull anything fancy. And I think the positive side is I didn't see a lot of deep threat receivers. I saw a lot of tight end play, and they have Moore, and they have Brahmer, and they have that younger kid, and they're going to be set at tight end. But I did not see anything that's going to be like a crazy downfield threat. Could still happen. I'm not sure. It's still early. But that makes me happy. I think teams that can stretch the ball down the field really threaten Iowa. But as far as if we have to defend the run and defend tight ends, I think we can do that. And then, like you said, if we can just run the ball, have a really solid running attack, I feel okay. And the tale as old as time is this game can get ugly. It can be all kinds of random stuff that happens. We pressure Rocco. We make it an ugly game. I think it favors the Hawkeyes.
And on top of that, I would usually say just win the special teams battle, which I would say
Mm-hmm.
we can confidently do. Now, after, I mean, we still have, God, our special teams is pretty solid, and obviously theirs is. So it might come down to special teams again.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see. We'll see. For Iowa State, your key to victory here is take care of the ball. Take care
Mm-hmm.
of the ball. Don't let Iowa's pace get to you. I
Yeah.
feel like that's Iowa's only chance of winning this game is slowing this game down. We start scoring points. I don't feel good about this right now. There's no doubt about it. Rocco Beck, be Rocco Beck. Go.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be held back. Let loose like you did in the second half last year against Iowa. Let loose, and you got to have a receiver step up, right? If it is tight end play, I feel comfortable about Iowa's linebackers and corners and safeties uh, being able to meet them at the pass reception and controlling them from making any large dramatic plays. But if you have a receiver step up, get that 40-yard catch, spread out downfield, that's going to put Iowa
Mm-hmm.
some deep shit.
Yeah. If I were the Cyclones, I would spread everything way out. If things break down, you have Rocco that can run.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a tight end get loose. I could just see it being one of those games where the Cyclones take 10 to 15 yards at a time. When you've stopped them a couple times on the run, I'm not scared of Hansen or Abu, but I could just see it being one of those nickel and dime games where they're just working the tight ends, plays are breaking down, and Rocco's running for a first down. I think if I bet on this game later in the week, I do lean towards the Cyclones, but
There's no doubt about it.
I always count on the Hawks making it a little bit ugly, making the score a little lower, play to our favor.
And that is one weird thing about this game. I feel a lot better than knowing that Iowa State isn't just seen us play a terrible game. And we
Mm-hmm.
say terrible. I know Iowa won 34-7, but the stat line, besides the point total, it was not as pretty. It was not a pretty game. So it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable knowing Iowa State just watched us like, oh God, what the hell was that?
Terrible. Yeah.
And then versus them seeing us absolutely demolish someone like we did against Illinois State last year, 40-0. And so we got to get our shit together. So the
Mm-hmm.
pressure's in Iowa State's hands, which I like.
Yeah.
For once.
Yep. Yeah, I think if you're a Cyclones fan and you're living in the clouds right now, you're thinking college football playoff. The Big 12 could go any direction. You've played a tough opponent. You've played a pretty good FCS opponent. You handled both. And I think that could be overconfidence that hurts you in this game.
So I think I know what we're going to get from Iowa State for the rest of the season. After these first two games, what are we going to get from Iowa? This is what I'm most eager to looking forward to this weekend is how they bounce back and how much more improvement they need to make to be competitive here in the Big Ten this season.
I think Leicester goes back to our bread and butter. I think you get way less crazy, especially the first couple drives. You work the run game. You work in a strangle more. You have to. We have to get our tight ends involved. That was crazy that we didn't try to immediately establish run game in the tight ends and get Gronowski comfortable. I think you see more of that, more traditional Iowa. I think he's going to open the playbook. I'm not worried about it being Brian Ferentz-esque level of monotony here, but I do think that we have to get back to our roots a little bit. I think we're at the mercy of who we have on the team. The lineup is the lineup, and I don't want to try and beat Ohio State. We don't have Jeremiah Smith and Ibuka and all these guys. Like, go run the football, be smart, work the seams. And play good defense. I'm not too worried about the defense. I think some of these Big Ten opponents, Oregon in particular, after their performance, will expose our DBs. But like I said, I don't think it's going to happen this week. I haven't seen anything from the Iowa State wide receivers to do that.
That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing I learned from the Albany game is shit. We can't compete against Oregon, Penn State if we play. There's no way. Now can we win in Ames? Yeah. Like I said, it's a rivalry, but. God, man, I'm scared because we have a bet on the line that if Iowa State wins this game, I will be consuming the world's hottest chip. Yeah. If I would have known the shit I would have saw this last week in the Kinnick Stadium, I would not have said that. I'm a man of my word. I'm hoping I can keep away from purchasing something off of Amazon and show it's my front door. I'm hoping Iowa gets this dub, but I'm leaning Iowa State to win this game by touchdown. 7.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess we do have a shotgun in the world's hottest chip or riding on the line here. So after seeing that first game, I know we're kind of a little bit over time before we get into our top 5 of the week. What's your prediction for Iowa's record at the end of the season?
so hard to tell. Like I said, I'm doing everything I can not to judge off this first game. 6-6 or 7-5. It's gonna get better. It can't get any worse.
Let's just say right now, Penn State and Oregon is
Lost.
That's an 0 for 2. Yeah.
Uh,
If you're able to sneak out Nebraska, USC, or Iowa State, I feel better. But those are 5 games right there that I just don't feel very good about.
No, I wouldn't either. I watched Albany's quarterback dice us up on that one drive and beat our secondary. Why is Xavier Wamka getting beat deep again? I'm sick of seeing this shit. Him and TJ Hall. Don't get beat deep. Keep it in front of you. You cannot.
Do you have one job as a free safety?
Oh
that is your one job. So, yeah, I would say the same. 6-6, 7-5. But I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. I know I got emotional on Saturday night, and I've calmed down a little bit. I was ready to write the season off. I'm like, we might not even break 500.
Yeah, but like I said, this is where Kirk wants us. How many times have we been on this podcast pitching him out, and then he gets us. So hopefully, hopefully we're wrong. Hopefully we're part of his tactics, his evil genius plan right now, and it works out. But we'll see. We need to get this previous game washed out and much better football being played this upcoming Saturday as well.
Yep. Are you tailgating? Or are you watching at home?
Nope. Nope. If I went to Ames, I just can't do it no more, man. I would eventually get arrested. But my brother-in-law, he lives in Colorado, so they're having their engagement party up at the farm this weekend.
Nice.
So it'll be good. It'll be good for me to be as far away from Ames as possible. And I'll be shoved somewhere in a corner watching this game by myself.
Yep. There was a lot of tailgate talk from different groups of people, and I'm like, guys, we're 30 years old. We don't need to be in the haunted forest making a clown of ourselves. Like, come on now. So I think we're just watching here in Des Moines, grilling some burgers, doing that thing. And, if it needs to go to a spot where we change the channel altogether, I'm ready to do it. But I have faith in what you're saying. We're going to keep it close. It'll be fun. Try and live in the moment and enjoy Iowa Corn CyHawk week.
Yeah, it's just the most important part is just getting through this week and then the week after because you take all the shit you lose. Yeah.